Have you ever felt alone in the midst of a storm, without the strength to carry on? Imagine having the courage to hold your faith steadfast, even when everything around you seems to be falling apart. In today's video, you will discover how Daniel faced the greatest challenges of his life without ever renouncing his beliefs. But what was the secret that kept him unshakable? Prepare yourself for a journey that will transform the way you perceive faith and adversity. Are you ready to uncover the power of true courage? Welcome to my channel. Today, we will dive deeply into the inspiring story of Daniel, an iconic figure from the Bible who exemplifies unparalleled courage in maintaining faith amid the greatest adversities. We live in times where temptations are many and challenges seem insurmountable. Just like Daniel, we often find ourselves in situations that test our faith and our principles. But how do we maintain integrity and trust in God when faced with intense pressures and powerful enemies? Get ready to discover how Daniel's story can be an inexhaustible source of inspiration and strength for you to overcome the adversities in your life. Stay with us and allow this transformative narrative to illuminate your path toward a more robust and resilient faith. Imagine being uprooted from your home, your land, and taken to a foreign country where everything is unknown, and you are surrounded by cultures and customs completely different from your own. This was Daniel's reality. Young and full of hope, he was forced to leave behind his family and his faith, being brought to mighty Babylon, a city of power and opulence, but also of deep idolatry and immorality. Upon arriving in Babylon, Daniel faced a whirlwind of emotions: fear, uncertainty, and an immense longing for his homeland. Babylon's vastness, with its imposing temples and luxurious palaces, starkly contrasted with the simplicity and spirituality of his previous life. Adaptation seemed an almost insurmountable task, especially when the pressure to conform to Babylonian practices and beliefs was constant and intense. However, even in the face of such adversity, Daniel decided he would not compromise his principles and his faith. He understood that to truly stand out and serve the king effectively, he needed to maintain his identity and convictions intact. This delicate balance between adaptation and fidelity was not easy. Daniel learned the local language and customs, demonstrating competence and intelligence, but never allowed this to distance him from his spiritual values. Daniel's determination to adapt without sacrificing his principles is a powerful example of integrity. He chose not only to survive in a hostile environment, but also to thrive within it, showing that it is possible to maintain faith and personal identity even in the most challenging circumstances. This attitude not only preserved his dignity, but also served as an inspiration to his friends and colleagues, proving that true strength lies in the ability to remain faithful to oneself. Daniel faced each day in Babylon with a mix of fear and hope. He knew his journey would be filled with trials, but he also believed that God would guide and protect him. This unwavering trust in God was the foundation that sustained Daniel during his adaptation, allowing him to face each challenge with courage and determination. His story teaches us that even when we are placed in uncomfortable and challenging situations, we can find ways to adapt without compromising our deepest values. Amid the difficulties of adapting to life in Babylon, Daniel and his 3 friends faced a crucial test of faith and integrity. King Nebuchadnezzar had ordered all captive youths to undergo training that included consuming the king's best food and wine, intended to form royal advisors. However, for Daniel and his friends, this represented a direct violation of their dietary laws and religious convictions. The decision to refuse the king's food was not made lightly. They knew that disobeying the royal decree could result in severe punishments, perhaps even death. The fear of punishment was real and present, but their determination to honor their beliefs was even greater. With courageous determination, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah chose not to defile themselves with the offered foods, but requested a vegetarian diet, committing to strictly follow their dietary practices according to their traditions. This decision reflected extraordinary courage. In an environment where conformity was encouraged and disobedience could mean downfall, they chose to maintain their integrity. This conscious choice to respect their principles, even in the face of considerable risks, demonstrates the importance of decisions grounded in ethics and faith. The integrity they displayed not only protected them, but also served as a living testament to their faith before an entire nation. Their determination was rewarded in a surprising manner. After a trial period, God blessed their integrity, making them appear healthier and stronger than those who consume the king's food. This blessing not only validated their decision, but also set a powerful precedent on the importance of making conscious choices and remaining faithful to spiritual principles. The courage of Daniel and his friends teaches us a valuable lesson about the importance of integrity. In a world where we are often tempted to compromise our values for acceptance or success, their story reminds us that staying true to ourselves and our convictions is essential for a life of true authenticity and purpose. Their actions show that even in the face of great adversities, the courage to do what is right can bring divine blessings and recognition. Daniel and his friends' journey in Babylon was far from smooth, and once again, their faith would be put to the test. King Nebuchadnezzar, blessed by Daniel and his friends' diet, faced unrest and envy. To further solidify his authority and impose his own divinity, the king erected a towering golden statue and decreed that everyone must bow down before it. Challenging this decree was directly disobeying the king's law, entailing extreme punishments. Daniel and his friends received the order directly from the king and, with courage, decided they would not bow before the statue. This resistance was not merely a political act of disobedience, but a profound declaration of loyalty to God above any earthly authority. The decision to remain faithful to their beliefs, even in the face of the threat of being thrown into the fiery furnace, was a testament to the strength of their faith. Nebuchadnezzar's reaction was immediate and ruthless. Enraged by Daniel and his friends' disobedience, he ordered them to be thrown into a fiery furnace, whose temperature was described as 7 times hotter than normal, intended to consume everything thrown into it. The king watched with a mix of anger and helplessness as his advisors carried out his order. At the critical moment, something extraordinary happened. God sent an angel to protect Daniel and his friends. The flames did not consume them. Instead, a mysterious figure appeared in the midst of the furnace, and the young men emerged unharmed, not even smelling of smoke. This miracle not only saved their lives but also served as a powerful testimony of divine intervention. The victory in the fiery furnace is one of the most exciting and reverent moments in Daniel's story. The admiration and reverence for divine intervention are palpable, as God's protection in the face of such brutal persecution demonstrates his faithfulness and commitment to those who are faithful to him. This event further strengthened Daniel and his friends' reputation, showing that true faith can overcome even the most intense trials. In addition to their salvation, Daniel and his friends received an even greater reward. The king's heart was transformed. After witnessing God's power, Nebuchadnezzar acknowledged the greatness of Daniel's God, rising in praise and thanksgiving. This royal recognition not only confirmed the superiority of Daniel's faith, but also paved the way for deeper spiritual influences within the kingdom. The story of the fiery furnace teaches us about God's faithfulness in protecting and blessing those who remain faithful to him. Even in the most challenging circumstances, trust in God can turn adverse situations into testimonies of victory and redemption. Daniel and his friends exemplify how true faith and courage can lead to miraculous and lasting outcomes, inspiring us to fully trust in God in all areas of our lives. Daniel's story in Babylon continued to unfold with new trials and challenges to his faith. Years after the incredible victory in the fiery furnace, Daniel had already established himself as a respected advisor and an influential figure in the empire. However, envy and rivalry among his enemies remained intense, fueled by his success and the divine wisdom that supported him. During the reign of Darius, the new king of Babylon, Daniel faced an even more severe test of his faith. Influenced by malicious advisors, the king issued a decree that prohibited any prayers to any god or man except himself for a period of 30 days. Those who disobeyed this order would be immediately thrown into the feared lion's den, a certain and merciless punishment. Daniel, faithful to his spiritual practices, continued to pray 3 times a day, as was customary in his faith. This decision was a clear act of disobedience to the royal decree, and his enemies quickly reported him, knowing that punishment was inevitable. Although King Darius had great respect and admiration for Daniel, he was compelled to enforce his own law. The king's heart was heavy, but he was forced to order Daniel to be thrown into the lion's den. The lion's den was a place of terror and despair, an environment where survival seemed impossible. The king spent the entire night in anguish, unable to sleep, while Daniel was cast into the darkness of the den. Anxiety and hope mingled in Daniel's heart, for he knew that his trust in God would once again be tested. At dawn, King Darius rushed to see if Daniel had survived. To his astonishment and relief, Daniel was alive and unharmed. The lions had not caused any harm to him. Daniel explained that he was protected by God, who had sent an angel to shut the lions' mouths, ensuring his safety. This miracle not only saved Daniel's life, but also served as a powerful confirmation of divine justice and God's sovereign protection. Daniel's victory in the lion's den is an emotionally charged testimony of absolute trust in God. Even in the face of certain death, Daniel chose to fully trust in divine justice and intervention. The anxiety and fear that undoubtedly plagued him were overcome by hope and the certainty that God was with him. This event not only reaffirmed Daniel's faith, but also transformed King Darius's and the entire empire's perception of Daniel's faith and God's power. Beyond providing an uplifting testimony of God's faithfulness, the experience in the lion's den strengthened Daniel's position as a spiritual and moral leader. King Darius, now convinced of the supremacy of Daniel's God, issued a new decree stating that all in the kingdom must fear and reverence Daniel's God. This transformation not only elevated Daniel to an even higher position of influence, but also spread the message of God's power throughout the empire. Daniel's story in the lion's den inspires us to maintain our trust in God, even in the most desperate circumstances. It shows that regardless of the dangers we face, true faith can sustain and protect us. Daniel's courage in the face of imminent death reminds us that trust in God gives us the strength to overcome any adversity and the hope that, in the end, divine justice will prevail. Daniel's journey in Babylon is a powerful narrative that deeply resonates within our hearts. Throughout this video, we have seen how Daniel faced immense fears, intense pressures, and seemingly insurmountable adversities, always maintaining his unwavering faith in God. He taught us that even when we are taken to unknown lands and confronted with difficult choices, it is possible to adapt without compromising our deepest principles and beliefs. Reflecting on Daniel's story invites us to look within our own lives and identify moments of challenge where our faith and integrity are tested. We can ask ourselves, how do we react in the face of trials? Are we willing to maintain our faith even when everything around us seems to conspire against us? Daniel's courage inspires us to persevere, to fully trust in God, and to believe that, regardless of the circumstances, He sustains and guides us toward victory. Let us take to our lives the lesson that true strength lies in trusting God and the determination to live according to our values, even when facing the greatest adversities. May we, like Daniel, find the courage to keep our faith firm, knowing that God is always with us, protecting and blessing us in ways we often cannot imagine. If this message touched your heart and you feel that you can apply these lessons in your own life, subscribe to our channel to continue receiving inspiring content that strengthens your faith and transforms your spiritual journey. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos and help us spread this powerful message to more people who need it. Additionally, we recommend watching our next video, where we will explore other biblical figures who exemplify the strength of faith in times of adversity. Don't miss the opportunity to continue this journey of inspiration and spiritual growth with us. To conclude, I want to leave you with a reflection that encapsulates the entire message of this video. True courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision that something is more important than fear. May this truth resonate in your heart and inspire you to face any challenge with the same courage and faith as Daniel. Thank you for watching and for being part of this community of faith and transformation. Until the next video, and may God richly bless every step of your journey.